Modern Real Estate Practice, page 22. The construction and installation of other types of factory-built housing. A useful resource is the Manufactured Housing Institute, www.manufacturedhousing.org. The distinction between real and personal property is not always obvious. Factory-built components are found in virtually every building and become part of the real estate once installed. Manufactured housing may be considered personal property, even though its mobility may be limited to a single trip to a park or development to be hooked up to utilities. Any type of factory built or manufactured housing may, however, be considered real property if it becomes permanently affixed to the land. The distinction is generally one of state law. Real estate professionals should be familiar with local laws before attempting to sell factory-built housing of any type. Plants. Trees and crops generally fall into one of two classes. 1. Trees, perennial shrubbery, and grasses that do not require annual cultivation are known as fructus naturalis. These items are considered real estate. 2. Annual cultivated crops such as fruit, vegetables, and grain are known as emblements or fructus industrialis and are generally considered personal property. The current owner or tenant is entitled to harvest the crops that result from the individual's labor. For example, when farmland is sold, the seller won't have to dig up growing corn plants and haul them away unless the sales contract says so. The young corn remains on the land. The seller may come back and harvest the corn when it's ready. Perennial crops, such as orchards or vineyards, are not personal property and so transfer with the land. Any item of real property can become personal property by severance, which is the act of separating it from the land. For example, a growing tree is part of the land until the owner cuts it down, literally severing it from the property. Similarly, an apple becomes personal property once it is picked from a tree. It is also possible to change personal property into real property through the process known as annexation. For example, if a landowner buys cement, stones, and sand and mixes them into concrete to construct a sidewalk across the landowner has converted personal property, the cement, stones, and sand, into real property, a sidewalk. Real estate professionals need to know whether property is real or personal. An important distinction arises. For instance, when the property is transferred from one owner to another, real property is conveyed by deed, while personal property is conveyed by a bill of sale or receipt. Classifications of fixtures. In considering the differences between real and personal property, it is necessary to distinguish between a fixture and personal property. Fixtures. A fixture is personal property that has been attached to land or a building that, by law, it becomes part of the real property. Examples of fixtures are heating systems, elevator equipment in high-rise buildings, radiators, kitchen cabinets, light fixtures, and plumbing. Almost any item that has been added as a permanent part of a building is considered a fixture. The legal term for plants that do not require annual cultivation, such as trees or shrubbery, is fructus naturalis, fruits of nature. Plant or crops that require annual cultivation are legally known as emblements or fructus industrialis, fruits of industry.